Today we're going to be doing some testing in Rome, Total Realism, Imperium Rectum on formations that I don't use because I thought they were bad a long time ago and I've stopped using them for so long, I don't fully understand why I believe they were bad anymore. Those formations being loose formation when you're about to go into melee combat, and wedge formation on cavalry. Wedge formation's obviously worse at getting surface area. When you charge, you want everyone to lower their spears, everyone to crash in, maximum impact, maximum chance to rout and win the battle. Wedge formation, by design, doesn't do that, which is why I think it's bad and don't use it. However, it might be better at pushing through units. I've tested that a little. I haven't been able to get a symmetrical test yet, and I've just scrapped the footage and I'm going again. And it also might give you hidden bonuses to the charge, and that's what we're gonna test first because that feels easier. So we're just gonna do a hoplite v hoplite to start this off, and I'm gonna charge in on the back, non-wedge and wedge, and see exactly where the line is for when the enemy routs, if there's any discernible difference. And if they look basically the same, I'm gonna call them basically the same, and at that point, using wedge formation would be a pointless tax on your micro. You'd be better off not using it just to spend your effort somewhere else if they're not really discernibly different at a glance. Like, sure, there might be a benefit, but if I can't tell just by using it, then it doesn't matter. Wide surface area, can't really go any wider than against one. A victory seems certain, he says. We launch the charge, and that's pretty much instantly a victory, right? That was a pretty solid example of why charging in a wide line is good, and also why heavy cavalry is good. So let's go try that with wedge formation and see if it has the same effect, because it took us about, I think, 2 seconds on triple speed from connecting to winning. One disadvantage of wedge formation is that when you use wedge formation, it's really hard to hide in trees. All right, same test. As soon as they're lined up, we launch the charge. 1 1000, 2 1000, and they're starting to win as the wedge breaks and they collapse, but it's not nearly as good, you can tell, because there's fighting. They didn't get the charge bonus in the vast majority of units. So, like, we won, but you can see we took notably more wounds, it took notably longer. In a main battle, in a situation where you have a massive line of infantry and a massive cavalry charge, that's the difference in chain routing their whole line within the first 2 seconds or losing half the cavalry in your army. That's terrible. So if it has any use, it's not just for using your cavalry normally. So this next test, I'm gonna have a 2v2 hoplite battle going on. I'm gonna try to charge from one side of the battle into the hoplite on the other side and see if I get greater penetration in wedge shape. So at least in theory, this test should not be complicated, but you can see they both charge the one on the left. So this is my issue when I keep trying to test this in any form of symmetrical situation, is the AI will be like, all right, instead of forming the line, we just all click on this guy, we run at him. And now, like, when I click on this guy, there's not much to run through. It's hard to even test properly. But if we just fail immediately, it'll be obvious that wedge is trash. I don't need to do any further testing. I don't know what attack commands the AI is giving, but it's very weird to watch. So we're clicking on the one on the far right. We're gonna see if we get through this bunch here or not. Did you not even charge? That's not even a charge. Get the fuck out and try again. What are you talking about? So it might be that we're not even getting close enough for the charge to trigger and lower our spears, but I don't think that's the case. It might be that wedge, the AI is just giving up on being in a line. I just want to do another check and see if they even lower their spears when I'm charging with wedge. Because if they just straight up fail to lower their spears and never enter the charge animation, this is completely useless. You guys do lower your spears, right? Because they're right there. They're easily in front of you. Yeah, they do lower their spears. I'm not even sure what it's claiming stabbed him. But yeah, this is what happens when you try to test this. It's deeply frustrating. The AI just doesn't behave in rational ways. It's neither playing well or playing badly. It's just doing things. And that makes it very hard to predict exactly what they'll do to get symmetrical testing. So I think to get a mostly even battle line, what I need to do is to give charge commands of my own units and give them first on this guy so that he meets a little bit sooner. And then as soon as he finally gets to run on this guy, and this should get a pretty even battle line. They definitely tried to muck it up a little bit, but they didn't succeed. Get into wedge, move out to here. Let them get in position. And you can see they instantly reposition. Like I gave the attack command, they just walked away, my guys didn't hold them. It's so frustrating. Now, if I were to attack this with wedge, one disadvantage of it you can see there is that it doesn't turn for shit. And what I wanted to see was, can you push through with any greater degree of effectiveness? Can you give move commands to get past faster? And well, no. Obviously, it's spearman, it's bad, but like there was no greater feeling of control there, and I just used normal formation. Now, I could keep testing this and testing this and testing this to see if there's like a discernible impact in terms of penetration from Wedge units. But what would the use for that even be? Is that just like so you don't have to bother moving them around to flank? Because you want to be doing that anyway, don't you? Just so the AI messes up their own formations and spreads out their units. I can't actually think of a use for Wedge formation unless it's glitchy and buggy in some way. And if you were to tell me that there's like a micro trick with Wedge where the unit just is a cheese grater and you can walk through enemy formation unstoppably, then like I would believe that exists and I'd be interested in trying it out, but I wouldn't even want to use it in game, I think, because that would just feel like cheating. I don't know what the point of Wedge formation was supposed to be, but the reality of its implementation feels like it's just garbage. And before I edit this video, I'm gonna post in the Discord and ask people if they have any idea what Wedge is supposed to do. And if they have any compelling results and I do further testing and it seems good, I'll include it in the second half of this video. But for now, I feel conclusively like Wedge just locks you into a bad formation. It doesn't give you any discernible bonus to charge, and if it does, it's massively counteracted by the lack of surface area it costs. It has no greater degree of control or maneuverability. It's not good at penetrating in any meaningful way, especially when you should already be flanking to accomplish the same result to just muck up the enemy's armies. I don't see a reason for this formation. Moving on to the next test, I just want to see what loose formation does. Everyone loves the Thinoid Clubmen, and they aren't particularly good at staying alive. They don't have great defensive stats. So I'm going to do a test, just a timer check, to see how does this compare one against the other, and is there a battle setting I can do to turn on the timer for this, because that would be really helpful. Yes, give me a 15-minute time limit, please. I've never wanted this before in my life, but it is actually helpful. I'm just going to do a test. How long does it take for the Rhodian Slingers to kill us, or what do they do with all of their ammo, whichever comes first, both in loose and tight formations. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, we lost 20% of men real fast. Gonna say that these guys are not the best against projectiles. I think they killed 60% of us. Nope, they walked up to us and continued throwing rocks. They weren't done. So they routed us at whatever time that was. We were down to 11 men. And we're still losing like 10 people a volley right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, if loose formations help me stay alive, I'm not seeing it. This does not appear to be meaningfully better in any capacity, and in fact, we may have died faster.
This is a terrible day.
What? There's no further testing needed. Fuck how it does in melee combat. Let me get the times up on the screen. Let me do editing real quick. And that last test, we got down to 32. The last volley brings us down to 28. The last volley brings us down to 18 at 11:35, and we rout. But in the second test, the last volley brings us down to 21 at 12:50. That's not a good look. Now, in case, I'm gonna do one more test. I'm gonna watch the footage back just to be sure that there was no tremendous variance in like unit positioning somehow, because the map did change. I might have messed up unit positioning. I'm gonna count the number of volleys. Once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're doing way better. I can just tell watching it. 11, 12, 13, 14. They made it through a lot of the enemy ammunition. 15, 16, 17, 18 and break, I think. Yeah, so 18 volleys on that first one. So I think what might be happening is that because they're in loose formation, the shields can't cover the guys next to them at all. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, it's brutal. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 and route.
This is a terrible day.
They literally did worse in loose formation by every metric. And not a little bit worse, just meaning there's no point in the formation. It literally doesn't do its job. So I don't feel like I need to test how that does in melee, because it doesn't do well at the thing it's supposed to be doing, which is fucking nuts. So I'm gonna go do a quick check with the community Discord for Rome Total Reals and Imperius Erectum and ask if they think there is any use for Wedge and loose formation. Because right now, and this might be the end of the video, so I'm gonna do the outro, but right now, I think both formations are objectively garbage. All right, I've been looking around for a while to continue testing with the stuff involving wedge formation, because I've heard that an effect of cavalry penetration, which is seemingly the goal of wedge formation, is that you need to be targeting something with low unit density and low unit mass, otherwise you won't be able to push through them. And hoplites being like the heaviest of the heavy infantry in terms of broad categories at least, they aren't really great as a target for this idea in the first place. And if wedge is incredibly niche, it still has a use. I shouldn't say it's trash, I should try to find it. So these Kushite axemen are the closest thing to really light infantry I can find on a quick glance. I need somebody who doesn't have a spear. These guys do have armor-piercing weaponry that deals 13. It's obviously still dangerous, but like, if I only can make the strategy work against actual factual trash, then it's a bad strategy. So it's the same plan, form a line, wedge through it. However, I think I've learned a micro trick that might make it more effective. I'm going to use wedge to charge the one that's closer, and as soon as the wedge starts, I'm going to give a new attack command to the next one, so they'll try to push through with that charge bonus. So I'm not sure what it is about the Kushite axemen, but they don't seem to be super interested in walking in a line like the Greek hoplites did. Because I restarted this fight thinking, oh, I must have messed up, had this visible at the start and moved these guys. But no, they're sort of wandering around. It's fine, I guess, but it does bother me from a testing perspective with it not being quite as clean as I would like it to be. One of them just stopped. He's just not going to participate. Makes it really fucking hard to test. All right, he's coming. He figured it out. It's not really much of a test to go from one to the other. All right, we're going to try to go through our own units. Fuck it. There's no way to use this one to test. All right, charge here. Get on a normal speed. When I hear the horn, see the spears, I'm going to change target. Right, there just wasn't one. There was no horn, there were no spears. It does seem to have worked, maybe. They did rout, like, fucking immediately. That was so fast that I feel like I just cheated or something broke. Is there not a way to skip forward or backward? Is there not like a thing? Why do replays suck so much? I don't even have a balance and power bar to see how many they're dying. And I can't hover this guy. What the fuck? Wait, why are replays goddamn terrible? Why do I have no UI? What the fuck is this? I can't even see how many have died. I can't even look at anything. I just have to like zoom in and try to figure out what's happening with my eyes. Oh my god, that's infuriating. So, not that I ever use replays, but I would like to levy a new criticism at Rome Remastered that their replay system is actual fucking garbage. You can't go back and forth. There's not even a go backwards in time, just half speed. You can't see how many units are in a unit, what its stats are. You can't see an overall balance of power. Who did this? I know it wasn't this way in the original Rome, right? I vividly remember like a little slider bar. It was blue. Am I actually going crazy? Was that real? I thought this would be the episode where I got gaslit by wedge formation, not the episode where I get gaslit by Feral Interactive. But still, we can watch from here. We need to see what the wedge formation does. Right now you can see I'm in disbelief, wondering how to even test this. My cavalry just don't know where to go. Okay, so they're coming over here. All right, here they come. They haven't made it yet. We're gonna watch this in half speed. You can see them bouncing off my own units. There's this one guy. He just killed that guy with the force, I think. Like 5 or 6 have made it through. Yeah, they really don't seem to have done very much so far. All right, they're just walking through people? They only killed like 6 people. No, they only killed like 6 or 7 people before everything chain routed. Okay, I get it. That army was just garbage. And I just touched them with cavalry, they rout. Let me just do it again with the other formation. I thought something really weird had happened, but it's just terrible units, isn't it? All right, fight's finally joined. I went pretty quickly on the previous fight. So, like, I just have no doubt that this routs them immediately. Yeah, they're just terrible. So here's the issue I'm running into then, right? I tried this with Foxmen. Foxmen are actually so dangerous that charging them in the back kills your cavalry. So at this point, I'm looking like for specifically a non-spearman light infantry unit that is not going to die to any charge, so I can test wedge for me. At this point, I don't understand what units it works against that I can't just kill instantly with a cavalry charge, right? Like, that's the problem I'm coming up against. If someone wants to post a video showing what an actual good use case for wedge formation is, like whether it's a micro trick or a specific unit type, I would fucking love to see it. But I do not understand. This feels so bad to me. Every time I use this, I just feel like it did nothing and it actively made things worse. Now, I do want to do another test with Rodian Slingers as well, because I want to test them against somebody who has literally no shield value in loose formation, and also in the tightest formation possible. I have packed 20 units of archers without shields in here like sardines. We're gonna see just how many deaths. I'm expecting about 81 every volley. I'm expecting every single rock to kill a man, but theoretically, if unit density matters at all, like if loose formation could somehow take more wounds, I think that this is not as bad as I thought it was. Or that specifically on unshielded ranged units, unit density is going to be relevant. What? Those are Rodian Slingers! What the fuck are you talking about?
The enemy general is running away. This is no way for a leader to
In case you wonder why I seem like I'm getting frustrated and not super interested in trying again and again and again with wedge formation, it's because of shit like this. You can't predict what the AI is going to do for symmetrical testing between wedge and non-wedge. I spent like fucking a minute getting all of these guys in a perfect little box, and the Rodian Slingers charged us. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, I think I know what happened. I actually think I know what happened. I've had issues where when I stack all my range units on top of each other, they can't fire. They're blocking the line of sight of the other ranged units. I'm willing to bet they tried to shoot us, but every individual unit of archers was so blocked by other units of archers that they couldn't find line of sight, so they gave up. Now that's some advanced cheese. I wasn't aware that was an option. All right, basic tight formation, just standing in a square. We're gonna test it again with loose formation after this.
We're under attack!
Wait, no, you can't be serious. Okay, they just wanted to get closer. They weren't charging this time. It does not take much to kill unarmored archers. What are you talking about? I guess we can do the count of damage taken on 5 volleys, because obviously I can't test a real fucking battle.
Many good men have died.
I don't even care what the results are anymore. I'm just angry. I'm just mad. I just don't even fucking understand. What's it matter what formations do with AI like this? Cool, same position, same general thing. We're gonna check to see what 5 volleys do. I think we were down to around 40 or 30. You better actually throw at least 5 volleys. It's decidedly better if you don't have a shield. Like, not hugely better, it's still not like super impactful, but they charge us way, like we have way more people. We're still gonna lose, obviously. I don't know why they're charging at all, but it did appear to be decidedly better in loose formation if you don't have shields.
But we shall try.
So, getting into the playback, first volley deals 10 kills, and I think it tends to stay like that for a while. Then we're looking at second volley 64, third volley 57, fourth volley 46, fifth volley 32. And I think that is actually only a pretty minor difference. Fifth volley got us down to 32 on the other one. First volley 74, second volley 71, but that's just bad variance. We saw like a 3 damage on the other one too. Fifth volley 45. So we took, I don't even want to do the math. We took like maybe 1/5 to 1/3 less damage. Like an amount that's not negligible, but if it's only for unshielded archers that it even matters. Like, I guess if you only have like 1 unit of archers and they're in range of enemy ranged weaponry, and that archer is specifically not a good archer that carries a shield, because some of those do exist, then it's worth using loose formation. But the moment you have 2 and you need to like have them standing relatively close together to fire at the same guy, it just doesn't seem to fucking matter very much. If you really don't want to get shot, stand everyone perfectly on top of each other so the AI freaks out and just doesn't. You probably can't move like that very effectively though, so it won't work very well. But that's just a meme anyway. I genuinely think that after doing additional testing, it's barely even worth including in the video. But I will go ahead and include the additional testing just so that anyone who thinks to suggest some of the stuff I've tested can see that it really doesn't have any meaningful impact whatsoever, and these formations are both still just actual factual trash. This video could have been 11 minutes long. However much longer you've been here, that's the cost of the benefit of doubt. Anyway, I'll hand it off to Past Me to do the conclusion again, because he said it perfectly the first time. It's all still true. Wedge formation doesn't have any effect that makes it better at anything. It's just a way to badly position your units automatically. And loose formation is actively detrimental by every conceivable metric. At least wedge formation looks cool, but loose formation doesn't do anything. It somehow makes you more vulnerable to ranged attacks. And like, you can say like, oh, but the guys we had have 4 shield. What? No one has much worse than 4 shield. Those are terrible. And even then, like, you shouldn't need to check your defensive values for the anti-ranged formation to be anti-ranged. I am thoroughly of the opinion right now that both formations are trash, but I'm gonna go ask the Discord, and if the video ends here, you know the Discord had nothing to say within the next 6 hours. Thank you for watching. If you came into this thinking those formations are trash, hoping to be enlightened as their niche uses, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm disappointed too. I hope it was fun to find out just how garbage they were with me, at least. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, Jeffrey and Evan B. Thank you to the mod team for making this fantastic mod, because this is 100% not their fault. This is base game problems, because I felt this way 20 years ago when I first picked up Rome Total War. Anyways, see you in the next one.